What's going on, y'all? It's another episode of Minding Your Biz. I'm one of your co-hosts, Dr. Black Wealth, and we got...
Hey, guys. It's your girl, Miss Fat Financial, checking in.
What's up? We are the #1 network for all things business, for the culture. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to stay updated on all news, all things that's going on, politics, business, investments, right? On today's episode, we're going to be diving into the election results as Donald J. Trump is the next president of the United States. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean for America?
Okay.
So we're going to break down one, Donald Trump win, right? The Fed cut rate, and Elon and Tesla, a couple mergers and acquisitions. And we're going to talk about a new hot topic at Yale University, the Beyonce course.
That's right. Come on, Beyonce.
Doing her thing over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who run the world? Not girls. We tried. We didn't make it.
Oh, man. Well, let's jump right into
the test. Sorry, Fee.
It was the wrong girl.
Girl.
Let's jump right on into it. The Republicans has won the presidency. I think it might be safe to say.
Yeah.
Election results show that for the presidency, he's up 312. You only need 270 to win. Harris had 226. For the Senate, we are 53 Republican, 47 Democrats for majority on the Republican side.
Yeah.
And then on the House, we are still kind of the jury's still out on that, but we are 216 as of today, 207 on the Democratic side. Mm-hmm. They need 218 for the majority for them to kind of get in that,
without
right?
the filibuster.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, you know, the United States is kind of like spoken and they bleeding red. So, you know, what's your take on it? What you feel? How you thinking? What's this
I don't feel any type of way.
No type of way.
I don't feel any type of way. I've cried last week.
Okay.
I was like,
did you really cry?
No, of course I didn't cry. Not for real. I ain't cry. Please. I barely cry when my children fall.
I've been hearing this. I've been hearing.
You better get up. No, I didn't cry.
I've been hearing this
disappointed.
Thing. Like a lot of people have been crying.
Oh yeah, no, I don't feel. I'm not that emotionally. I'm disappointed.
They like upset.
But I'm not surprised by the way that the country has been going. Donald Trump is us. We elected him, either if we were Democrats or not. The way we talk, the way civility has been going down the drain, we elected him. So I'm not surprised. Am I disappointed? I am, but such is life. Such is life.
Like a C minus. How you feeling about him?
I mean, listen, Donald Trump is a character. He is a whole enigma of personality and entertainment. So I think us electing him as president, I mean, we shall see. The jury's still out. It's a lot of stuff, rumblings, there's a lot of things happening. It is going to be good for business. Regulation is going to be lower. So the rich are going to make twice as much more money, right? The rich are going to get richer and the poor are probably going to be poorer. So I don't know what you want to grade. What grade you want? For the rich, it's probably going to be an A. They're like, yay, deregulate, fast pass it, lower taxes, more corporate welfare for us. Yes. The poor, for them, this is probably going to be a D. Y'all done shot yourselves in the foot. So
I guess to each his own. I think where we're at, I definitely am a little optimistic. I'm probably at a B. I would love to see how this plays out, right? Of course, we've seen a sweep Republican across the board, which suggests to me that there might be more ability for Trump to kind of push his agenda, whatever that.
Absolutely, he's got an open checkbook. They just have to stop the inner fighting. No shucking and jiving. Do what you say you're going to do. Yeah.
But it
shouldn't be nothing holding you back. Go ahead and do it.
From recent news with what he's been doing, he seems very much so like on an agenda, right? We got a few, which we'll talk about later. We got a few, appointees, things of that nature. They seem to kind of be like, he got a plan for what's going to, or at least for what he want to kind of roll out.
I mean, I would like a better plan. I know we saw Project 2025. He was saying he wasn't really aligning, though his vice president co-wrote it. So I would want more of a financial agenda plan. I know they've already talked about mass deportation. I hear what's rumbling. But I want to know, more importantly, what are you going to do? They talked about deregulating. So there are people in his cabinet that I kind of get an idea of what they stand for, but I didn't see the plan. What exactly rules, laws, policy is going to really affect the people?
Yeah, well, I guess, we got plenty of time to find out, right? So January 20th is the when he gets the inauguration, when he gets sworn in, and then from there is off to the races, and then we are reporting on this for the next 4 years. I guess we'll be around for the next
2 years, because that's the midterm, so it could get shaken up. The midterm elections in 2 years, he could lose the Senate and the House. Governors, races, 2 years. So you really got 2 years to do what you need to do. It's like a referendum. Same thing what happened with Obama. If you don't do what you said you're going to do,
I guess the Democrats will show up more or something.
No, the people may not vote for him. You know what I'm saying? You lose the support, right? People voted for him for many different reasons, right? Some people voted for the economy, right? So if you don't show up and deliver based on what you said you were going to do for the economy, then you start to lose that support, right? The people go, oh, you didn't do what you said you were going to do. I'm going to hold you accountable and make you pay the way I made the Democrats pay.
Right.
Well, at least that's what you should be saying, right? That's the energy you should have.
I mean, I guess we'll see. So, we'll be following up on that, more news about that. But right now they sweep with, bleeding red, and that's the results as of now. We still got a few more. Hopefully by next week or so, we'll find out
the full status of the House
results. Yep. So next up, man, hey, the Fed cut rate. They just had a meeting it was actually right after the election, so they cut rate by another 25 basis points, putting us at a little bit over 4%.
4.6.
Yeah. And they're set to meet again come December, which the jury's still out on if they're going to cut again. I feel like they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and then we had some, I don't know if it's traumatizing news, but some characteristic news of like, hey, is Jerome Powell going to get fired? Are we concerned about that?
Jerome Powell said, no,
right.
He can't. It's unlawful.
So
Jerome Powell, he was like, no, right. It's unlawful. He wasn't giving no smoke, no nothing. He ain't trying to hear nothing Donald Trump said, even though Donald Trump appointed him in 2016, right. But he's like, no, it's different. You can't influence us to lower or increase the rate. Is based on the economy. Is based on the actual facts, not based on your feelings and emotions. And you can't fire me, sir. So go somewhere and sit down.
Check out the clip we got about with Jerome Powell's reaction to the question about him and the Fed rate and then him being fired from Trump.
If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on, do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No.
Do you believe the president has the power to fire or demote you, and has the Fed determined the legality of a president demoting at will any of the other governors with leadership positions?
Not permitted under the law.
So 2 things. I think the Fed lowering the rate is a great thing. I think, it'll give you better access to money at a cheaper rate. It'll help, speed things up a little bit, depending on tariffs. That's a whole separate thing, but they do run hand in hand because the Fed looks at the economy, the health of the economy. Can it withstand a lower rate, right? That's the purpose. Do we need to have more money flushed into the economy? So that's kind of how they gauge stuff. So I think it's going to be a great thing. I think lowering the rate is a wonderful thing, but it should be a separation between a lot of the departments, a lot of the government departments for a reason. The executive branch should not be able to bully, to persuade the Fed to do what they need to do. They can't. They almost said they have tunnel vision. They have to look objectively at what the economy is doing, the highs and lows, to determine how we fluctuate, how money is circulated in our government, our economy. So I think that Donald Trump cannot do it. It's separate. They're appointed from government, from different levels of government, and they're there long term, right? I think it's 14 years. They're there, 14, maybe the board, 14 years. So I think, sometimes I feel like a lot of it is it's just, I say lip service. A lot of the stuff that people do on both sides is inflammatory to get a reaction from you, though it is not lawful. He cannot fire him. Now, he may not appoint him and bring him on because his term is over 2026. So he may replace him. I mean, and that's what he's in every right to do that. But I think now it's just like he said, it's a nothing burger. It's nothing to see here.
I don't think the world's ready I don't think the world can react to not having a central government. And I don't think we have not from before the central government, or the central bank, was formed. I think we have enough kind of data to kind of test how well the country would do without it, especially now that we in debt. It's too many,
we don't produce things.
We need
credit.
It's too many intricacies moving on for us to not have a central bank, at least from my understanding right now. So, I mean, it's interesting. I guess we'll see what happens. We definitely gonna stay tuned to December when they meet again. They should be dropping the rates again, which will bring us back down, and we'll watch what unemployment does and the consumer price does.
And it's global, right? The central bank, I was looking at the central bank in Finland and the European central bank. They all talk together, right? We are not on an island amongst ourselves. The economy is very interconnected with global markets around the world.
Right, because money's connected.
So you cannot sit here and be like, America, 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 when we owe China, when we import from here, when we have labor over here. So all this America standalone and it's just us is really you not understanding economics and global economy. Now, I'm not claiming I know all the bells and whistles, but I know it's more complicated than I'm going to fire you, I'm going to hire you, lower the rate.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more intricate than that.
I thought he handled it real. He was like,
he did. I give him an A+.
No.
He didn't engage. He gave him, it was a nothing burger. He was like, he can't fire me.
Right.
It's unlawful.
He's very monotone.
It's unlawful.
Like, I mean business.
And we're going to meet in December. And we might move it down to 3.25.
I guess
Peace
we'll
out.
see.
I love that. He did
It's
not
for
give
sure,
him
'cause
that energy.
There's no feelings in money. I mean, we talking about, the Fed moves monetary policies, period, right? So anything monetary, even when we had stimulus, all that stuff was ran through the Fed that, the U.S. Treasury pushed out. So the fact that their trajectory is way longer than a presidency turnover because they're looking at the stability of the market, the stability of inflation, and stability of jobs and unemployment is a big deal. And your movement for banks, right? So for banks to do free things. All right, so next up, man, hey, Elon Musk since Trump has been elected, Elon Musk has kind of like quadrupled his net worth. His Tesla stock has been going up. With that, Tesla stock surged 39% since Donald Trump election, bringing his net worth to about $70 billion. His wealth has passed over $300 billion.
$70 billion.
Yeah, with a B. Right.
Maybe by $70 billion.
Yeah, and so he's passed $300 billion, putting him like the second world's richest person, right? But Elon spent $130 million to help Trump get elected.
Yeah.
So I invested $130 million.
He want his money back. He want an investment.
And he definitely quadrupled his net worth.
He want his investment back. He like, okay, speaking business, I'm gonna take my personal feelings.
The business side, you gotta spend money to make money.
For sure. I'm gonna take my personal out of it. To invest that type of money into someone I want my money back in blood. It's give me back my money. I think him as a business person aligning himself with Donald Trump, I give him an A+. Right? I think it's a great move. I think he knows Donald Trump because they talk the same language, right? Donald Trump is very intrigued by his cachet, his money, right? And also him being a businessman. I don't know in terms of the intellectual property, is it his brain power doing it or is he just hiring the right people? Either way, he's a good businessman.
It's probably both.
Right? So I think that he does represent modernization, us moving forward as a country. I think we are way behind in a lot of different things in terms of world. I think United States is behind with IT, with education, with infrastructure. Like, I think it's great to align and help put that stuff in the United States. Like, our roads, you go to other countries and it looks modern. It's like, oh my God, some of these cities look really good. So A+ for Elon's side. Donald Trump's side, I'd give him an A too. He aligned himself with the person with the most money who had strategic advantages over information spreading, right? He's owner of Twitter. Mm-hmm. He could change the algorithm. He could put out whatever he wants. He could disseminate information
fast,
better than anybody else, and he can control that. So I think A+ to both of them, to aligning themselves with the people they need to succeed. Now, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna put my personal.
There we go. There we go.
Now
this is definitely, I'm gonna give this an A. The feeling behind it, the whole movement behind it. These are some of my points when I say, hey, when the rich get richer, the poor can benefit too. Because if we do something simple as invest in what is happening over there, when we do something as simple as understanding how to invest, and so we see that Tesla stock is moving. That's a dramatic event in the marketplace itself, right?
Yeah.
His push behind he did win. Everything is moving in their favor. Tesla stock moves up, which means if you invest more, you just became that much more richer.
For sure.
Another strike up and against the poor side, right? And so these are the things that I mean by, hey, you can take advantage of the things that are happening around you once you kind of start paying attention to it. And so
I would agree. I think Tesla stock, I was looking at some of the research. It's at $328 a share. If I were you, I would start buying $100 a week. Every time you get paid, buy some share. And it's a hold situation. So Trump he's got 4 years. So within that course of 4 years,
buy and hold.
That $328 can go up there. I'm gonna say maybe $500, $600 a share, right? And so in 5 years, you can have some money, right?
You can do the options play too on it. If you watching it good too. So definitely get with your investment advisor or do your own research, right?
Please do your own research.
So
also, SpaceX is to me where I think the gold is. Now it's a private firm. It's worth $175 billion. It's not public, so you got to go to different private equity firms that help you buy privately. Please do your research on that. I'm not an investor, but look into it. Look into how can I invest in SpaceX. Right. It's a private company, but there are companies that you can align with.
Private equity companies.
That you can invest in
Shout
companies
out to
that
are look at the BlackRock.
Are private, right?
JP
also,
Morgan. His
company Neuralink, they do brain implants. It's a thing. Y'all might not like it, but it's a thing. He's the future. It's happening. I don't really, it's not my thing. Also, too, SpaceX, $3 billion last year with the Department of Defense. So the government has already got hands with them.
This is
it's
like
happening.
watching maybe a positive side of like Lex Luthor.
I don't know if it's positive because most people with that type of power aren't. I mean,
that's like people who don't have that's fear. I think you to do something revolutionary, you're gonna shock a whole lot of things.
Yeah, but
well, hey, as we move on now, business analysts are breaking down the fact that since Trump win, we're gonna be having more fluid ability to lend on capital. So there's going to be a whole bunch of mergers and acquisitions that's happening. So we're looking at banks being able to be more lending friendly, which is a plus for businesses. And if it's a plus for businesses, that means there's possibly more jobs, there's more increase in pay, there's more increase in growth in economics. What's your take on that?
Okay, so it's two sides, right? So on the business side, I'm giving it an A.
Oh my
Give
God.
it
What
an
other
A.
side could there be?
Because it's always two sides.
It's never two sides.
It is. Money is great, but without rules and regulations, us as people have a natural inclination to only think about us. If you don't have people who help you regulate, the people end up suffering.
The regulators is thinking about themselves.
I'm not gonna go in there with you. Okay, so literally,
Just saying.
if you were an automobile maker, you didn't think about seatbelts. It had to be someone to regulate and say, y'all need seatbelts. It had to be someone to say, let's think about how fast we could drive here. You know what I mean? Like you need a certain amount of regulation. We aren't. Unfortunately, we don't self-govern. We have a tendency. We don't regulate ourselves, right? Most people don't. You have to have barriers. You have to have rules, regulations, things that help you navigate, or you'll go balls to the wall.
I guess.
I agree. I think for business, it's a great thing, but I think when you deregulate, you miss out on the competitive advantage some lower and small, middle of the road companies have because if large companies keep absorbing smaller companies, you miss out with the competitive advantage. And typically that's why the regulators are there to say, hey, it can't only be one electric company, because then you price gouge and then you have a unfair advantage over the market. So that's what tends to happen when media companies, energy companies start to absorb, right? Google does, a lot of them do it, and then they lose the competitiveness to be more effective, to be more fair to your consumer, right? Comcast did it for years until they had to break down Comcast and say you can't have the market on cable, right? So I think deregulation works to a certain extent. Now, overregulation is the problem, but it has to be somewhere in there so you can keep a competitive market, right? To me, that's how I feel. That's my 2.2.
No, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I don't have no two sides to it. I just see one side. Mergers and acquisitions, that's opportunity for people to get into entrepreneurship by way of buying businesses. That's opportunity for current businesses to be able to buy other businesses to absorb that income and grow their business. That's a growth strategy and a scale strategy. And you have the ability to hire more and do more. I think that on the big side, I mean, if it makes sense for big businesses to merge, I would be looking at that and trying to figure out, on if I'm small scale, what if we could merge, or if we don't merge, what can we buy to have growth in our business, if that's what you want to do. And then on top of that, just the fact that banks are gonna be more lending friendly, it should provide the opportunity for small businesses to be able to get more
funding.
capital for
Absolutely.
whatever they need.
I give that an A+ any day. I think that when the banks are lenient, it's just you as a consumer have to be wise on what you're consuming and buying. The
100%.
responsibility is on you.
100%.
So don't jump and like, oh, they giving me $1 million. Well, what's the terms? What's the rate? And do you have a plan to make sure you can pay back that $1 million?
Yeah.
So I love it when the banks lower it. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You look at buying a bank. All right, well, in other news, man, listen, your girl Beyonce is in the news again. Yale is adding a Beyonce course to their curriculum coming up this next academia year, where they're going to be breaking down Black radical tradition cultures, theories, and politics through music. Will be offered at Yale. What's your take? I got a take, but I don't know how many people like it.
I know I'm probably not. I'm giving it an A. Way to go, Yale. Go for it. I think Beyonce is a one in a generation figure, along with other people. I think to study how she came into popularity, how she runs her business, being able to really tap into a lot of different markets, being a voice of the people with Black Lives Matter at the Super Bowl, being a feminist, also being a wife and a businesswoman. I think I'm not surprised. Daphne Brooks is the professor who's leading it up. And I think it's no different than we studying Bob Dylan, Taylor Swift, Aretha Franklin, or Toni Morrison. I think Beyonce is well within. I think I have no problem with Yale doing it. I think kudos to Yale and the Black professor who is highlighting her and her accomplishments and studying how she impacts politics, culture, and all those things.
Yeah, I mean, they said he's using the Black intellectuals, the Beyonce, to kind of big up the other Black intellectual like Toni Morrison and Frederick Douglass. I think this is an A. The problem I have with this is,
oh God, are you giving it 2 sides? Are you giving it 2 grades?
No.
Okay.
But what it is I just don't think what it is for us as a people. I'm always big on this, but I'm really stern and hard on it. Is the fact that for Yale to have the ability to do this is a great thing. these are the type of...
It's 50 years ago, baby. It wouldn't even be...
Right, but these are the type of things that we should be having in our black schools, amongst our black intellectuals, amongst our black children to kind of break. This is somebody's breaking down their music, her influence. This is bigger than music. It's culture, it's impact theory, it's the marketing behind it, it's the business plays behind it. We don't see this offered at Howard. We don't see it offered at HU. We don't see it at Clark. Those are the problems that I have. When you look up them curriculums in them schools, it's trash. Outside of you trying to be a media or entertainer, but that's where they kind of cater to the performing arts. There's nothing wrong with that. But then where are the business classes? Where are the intellectual classes where we can kind of go in that deeper level to I mean, going to a class like this, I would eat this up. You know what I mean? If this was a pride in my own black institutions, even
break
down
down
at the
her
high
business,
school,
destruction of
right.
yeah.
Her influence,
Yeah.
even if we're not even talking about Beyonce, just like how he's going to make the comparison with Frederick Douglass and Toni Morrison. I mean, icons that we don't really talk about at all, really. And so that's the only problem I have with it. But kudos to Yale for what they're doing. But I do think that's a, big up to the professors there, plus the alumni. Them Ivy League schools are heavy with the alumni.
And the
I think that's what we got with the endowment.
And some of the credits that they get from the government.
So all I'm saying is take a page out the book
DEI.
to where they're breaking down black culture.
Yeah.
For the expansion of these majority, probably, I mean, it's probably black. I'm sure it's black people at Yale, but
predominantly
white who really dissect and embody our culture.
Yeah.
More than what we kind of dissect and kind of get on the other side of it, right?
For sure.
And so that's kind of my little tidbit about that.
Because I think too, and I agree. I just want to double back. I agree. I don't know some of the HBCUs. I'm not even going to just. And I get what you're saying. I don't know their curriculum per se, but if you looked at it and you felt like, hey, it was subpar, then we could go with it. Yeah. But I do agree that there needs to be a deeper dive and acknowledgement on how businesses is built, how businesses are built, right? And the intentionality behind growing an empire and a business. From zero, right? And not just entertainment, because we've seen entertainers come and go that can't sustain, that die broke, they don't have any money, they don't have any generational wealth, and has constantly been able to reinvent and stay current, stay on top of her game, and maybe they will uncover some of her business withholding, some of her investments, and how her business is even set up.
Successes
right?
and failures.
Yeah. So I think I agree. I think we're on the same page with that one.
So I guess we'll see what happens. But all right, guys, listen, we brought down politics, what happened with on Donald Trump win, the Fed cut their rates, and his possibly being fired. Elon Musk and Tesla stocks are rising. Mergers and acquisitions are happening all around you. So there's opportunity all around you. Just open up your opportunistic eye so you can see how to better yourself, how to get yourself up there, how to change the dynamic of your family. And we got our wonderful pop star Beyonce course being broke down at Yale, which for the Ivy Leaguers is good, because those are going to be those are the people who are in Yale now are the second and third generations of top family offices that are in school to keep their family offices
policy
going.
makers,
Think
business, Fortune 500 owners. Yeah, they are at Yale.
100%.
A lot of those Ivy League schools. So look at what we doing. What the team is saying something.
Yeah. So I mean, just look at it, man. What things stood out to you? Y'all make y'all comments below on what grades you give each one of these sections that we just did.
Yeah.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit that bell. And we'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.